Yeah.
So, sports in general were your parents, was your dad, like were they sports
My
people?
grandfather.
Your grandfather
My
was the
grandfather.
one.
My mother's father.
Yeah.
What was he into? What was he
Yankees.
watching? The Yankees?
And when I was probably, and my grandfather was my hero,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and my father's my hero.
Yeah.
And Mickey Mantle became my hero.
In that order.
In that order, exactly. You know, and I used to sit with my now they tell me this.
Yeah.
Like a lot of, it's not my memory too. They said when I was 4 years old, if the game was on,
Yeah.
I was watching with my grandfather,
Yeah.
no matter what.
Yeah.
And they said by the time I was 5, I could tell the batting averages.
Yeah.
Wow.
They would tell me that people would bet, you know, like my grandfather would say, I bet you like $1. My grandson could tell you, just give a name and he'd know the batting average. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And I don't even remember this. You know what I
Right.
mean? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then I guess I went to the Polo Grounds,
Yeah.
and very shady. I was around 4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I said we lived in Inwood.
Yeah.
And,
It's
and my
right there.
grandfather
Yeah.
lived there too.
Yeah.
And he lived right above us.
Yeah.
And we just walked like right over the bridge.
Yeah.
And we'd be there. And Polo Grounds are a little shady. You know?
Yeah.
But my first my first thing in Yankee Stadium,
Yeah.
I remember watching the games with my grandfather at home on black and white little set, like a real little tiny set.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all of a sudden I went to Yankee Stadium. And the color, and the
Like
crack
the Wizard
in
of
back,
Oz.
Exactly,
Wow.
exactly.
It's
Yeah.
all
The Wizard of
real.
Oz.
Yeah.
And I was hooked.
Yeah.
The smell, everything.
Yeah.
The hot dogs, everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we could back then it's a little different today. We could walk on the field before the game.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and after the game, we were allowed to go through the bullpen to the street.
Right.
You know where the subways were and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it was awesome. And then my grandfather's brother, he didn't own Singer & Sevens, but he was a real big shot.
Yeah.
So we used to get seats all the time.
Yeah.
So World Series,
Yeah.
like 1962, 4.
Yeah.
Like I remember Mickey Mantle hitting a walk-off home run in the bottom of the 9th. And he
Yeah.
was my hero. Barney Schultz, I was on 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then my dad was a New York City policeman, and he had a lot of friends there too. And I remember being around 9 years old, going into the clubhouse and stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and seeing Elston Howard.
Yeah.
I never seen a black man in my life, and he was so huge.
Yeah.
And he was like one of my heroes too. I was
Yeah.
like, wow, you know. Yeah, Mickey Mantle, he put me on his lap and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
so it was
wild.
awesome.
Yeah.
You know, it was awesome. My father, signed the ball for me right there and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when I I moved to Little Neck,
Yeah.
Whitey Ford, who pitched for the Yankees,
Yeah.
his 2 boys went to school with me, and we became really close.
Yeah.
So it was great that way
Wow.
too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there ever a time that you were you always kind of still starstruck? Because it sounds already you've met these baseball players, this pitcher, you're with his sons, you hung out with the Knicks in the Rock, or not hung out with them, but watched the Knicks and the Rockaways. Was it every time were you overwhelmed and starstruck, or was there a point where you started to be like, oh yeah, this sport seems like sports are just, they follow you?
Yeah, no, it was always for me. It was when I probably starstruck, probably around 12 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it got to be but it was always a passion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, another thing. My father worked for the State Commission of Investigation.
Okay.
Back then Bobby Kennedy was the Attorney General of New York.
Mm-hmm.
And I was probably around 11, and I went to a Giant game at Yankee Stadium. Giants played football there also at Yankee Stadium, and we went to a suite. And I never forget my father telling me all week long, now we're going to the game. You have to be good. You have to just be quiet. And I didn't realize that we sat with Bobby Kennedy and his son.
Oh.
David, and David was the one who OD'd in the later years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were 10 years older than the 2 of us.
Oh
You know
my
what I mean?
gosh.
Yeah. Did you guys get
Wow.
along, or was it
Yeah,
just
sure.
Yeah.
So, but I love football too.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was always focused on that, and my parents always used to say, we wish you would do homework the way you could do, sports work.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It was your homework.
Yeah.
So,
Did your grandfather ever say why he was a Yankee fan? Was it ever because I guess the Giants were right there too, right? I mean, it could have been one of the two.
He
In
didn't
fact, the Giants were closer.
didn't like them at all.
Yeah.
And just like I was raised as the same thing as like the Mets and Yankees are.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
a Yankee fan. The Mets is like
Yeah. Yeah.
so. But anyway, back then he loved Babe Ruth.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
He loved Babe Ruth. Matter of fact, funny story is he was in Inwood, and he was waiting for the bus to go to work, and all of a sudden the car pulled up at the light, and it was Babe Ruth driving the car.
Oh.
So my grandpa's like, he was like 25, 6 or 7,
Yeah.
however old he was then. Hey, how you doing? Yeah. So
That's great.
So he loved that too.
Yeah.
How I remember my,
Yeah.
So, but I said childhood. Then when I got to be say 12 and 13,
Yeah.
started going with my friends now.
Yeah.
Sit in the bleachers for bat day.
Yeah.
And it was back then they played 2 games, every Sunday.
Yeah.
Started at 1 o'clock. We were there till like 8 o'clock at night. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It was just awesome.
Yeah.
And back then, as I said, my parents, as long as you're with your friends,
Yeah.
we'll pack lunch, bring a,
Yeah.
bologna sandwich or a tuna
Yeah.
fish sandwich.
Right.
I was all set,
Yeah.
And then by the time I was 18, I got season seats.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how? I mean, I know you've had a prolific number of years for season seats. I mean,
Yeah.
like how long has that been? Starting in 18 and
Okay. Right. I had the old stadium was knocked down in 74.
Okay. Yeah.
So I had seats from 72
Yeah.
right through 2010.
Wow.
So I went through 3 stadiums.
Yeah.
Wow.
I went, the original stadium,
Yeah.
The refurbished.
the
yeah.
first Yankee Stadium,
Yeah.
and then the one across the street where it is now.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I guess they won the World Series in 2009,
Yeah.
and I stopped going in 2010.
Yeah.
Okay.
Reason being money.
Yeah.
They got really expensive to
Yeah,
see.
with the PSLs
yeah.
and stuff. Like.
They
with-
put me in. I was behind home plate.
Yeah.
I used to be behind home plate.
Yeah.
In the new stadium, they put me out in right field.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they had this big. Their whole thing was the big scoreboard. You
Yeah.
remember? The
Yeah,
scoreboard?
yeah.
Right. I couldn't even see the scoreboard.
Right. Right.
It was, and then I couldn't see the right fielder. And
Yeah.
then my mother got real sick.
Yeah.
So it was a combination. It was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
combination of
Yeah.
things. So my last year, I did see them win the World Series there.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
And then the next year was my last year there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But
And
you're
then-
still a big fan.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I go to I go to a ballpark each summer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a different ballpark. I've been to probably every ballpark.
Yeah.
I think, except for Cincinnati.
Oh.
But I've been to like old ballparks and new ballparks. Like in
Oh,
Baltimore,
cool.
Yeah.
me and Mike went to Camden Yards, but I was at the
Yeah.
original Memorial Stadium.
Yeah.
Tiger Stadium. I was at both ballparks in
Yeah.
Tiger
Yeah.
Stadium.
Are there any right now that are outstanding?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What I love, my favorite ballparks are still the old ones.
Yeah.
Fenway Park,
Yeah.
Wrigley Field,
Sure.
incredible. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So, now the new ones, I love Pac Bell,
Yeah.
San Francisco.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful ballpark.
Yeah.
And everything's downtown now, so that's really good too.
Yeah.
They
cool.
built all the new ballparks downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's great to go for like a nice meal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? After the game or vice
Yeah.
versa. You know what I mean? So like everything's
Everything's right there.
everything's right there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I
A
mean?
couple of when we did our first long distance walking trip, which is kind of like how we prepared for several years to do this project. We went from San Diego to Los Angeles, and we went to Petco Field, and
Nice.
we were just blown away by how, like you say, integrated into the downtown. Like they just took
Yeah.
old buildings
That's
and
so
Yep.
made it
cool.
part of the stadium. It was
Yeah.
really an experience.
Petco's really nice too.
Yeah. So, I think that's a good question. How do you feel about the, I guess, contemporary philosophy of stadiums? You come from the era where it was like, you go into the stadium, you sit down and you watch the game. You're not walking around and like experiencing the movement. Whereas today's stadiums, they're almost encouraged to, you sit for a couple innings, but then you get up, you get some food. There's a promenade around the back where you walk around, and maybe you go back to your seats, or maybe you stand in a section where you can have a beer. Do you think that it's, in your opinion, it's a good evolution or bad, or is it indifferent?
Well, I'm old school, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
so to me it's you're there to watch the game.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not there to socialize.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. All
yeah.
these distractions.
But like, I understand totally.
Yeah.
One thing I do not like about Yankee Stadium,
Yeah.
the new stadium,
Yeah.
is the security is so tight that they won't even let you, like young children. Now, when I was a child, half the adventure for me was to go get autographs.
Oh,
You go down
yeah.
behind the dugout,
Sure.
and the players would come by and sign autographs for you,
Yeah.
like right there.
Yeah.
Yankee Stadium won't allow that.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
No. So now you go to a minor league ballpark, like in Coney Island, where the Mets
Yeah.
play.
Yeah.
It's all about fan friendly,
Yeah.
and it should be fan friendly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're paying top dollar now too.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to a game today, you know, a family of four, it's going to cost you $400, $500.
Yeah, totally.
No, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
a family of four. So like that's one thing. Like a lot of the ballparks besides Yankee Stadium, you can still go down.
Yeah.
Like when I go on the road, you can still
Yeah.
go right down. I mean, not for me personally now, but for the kids. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what it's all about. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
You know, the
Yeah.
kids, because like I would like to see a child experience what I experienced.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, totally. You know what I mean? So, you know, so Yankee Stadium is totally, you cannot go down
No,
there.
no,
No,
it's-
not at all.
Yeah, it's feels very like commercial
Yeah,
when you
no,
go into
yeah,
Yankee Stadium.
Yeah. You know,
I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen a game, even when the playoffs, none of those seats behind the, you know, the catcher are full anymore. You know? I
No,
know-
never. Well, they're
Yeah.
$1,000 a game.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's great.
They're just corporate
Yeah.
seats.
Yeah,
and,
no,
you know, people-
I paid less than that for a season seat.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
So
crazy.
definitely.